The spooky season is in full swing, and what better movie to come out now than the new Hellraiser? We finally get to see the new Pinhead and actress Jamie Clayton doing her own spin on the Hell Priest.
We have such sights to show you.
Hellraiser is about a drug addict, Riley, who comes into possession of the dreaded puzzle box. She must seek answers and face these supernatural forces and find out who is responsible for her brother's disappearance. This movie also includes Strung Up and Strung Out. Chains. So many chains. Pins in heads and in throats. Cenobites are back, baby! Dismemberment. Don't fiddle with that box. I'm sexually confused, but I like it. There are quite a few kills in this movie, so let's put on our leather chaps and jump in and rank these kills. And of course, if you have not seen this movie yet, big spoilers coming ahead of you. Joey is our first victim in this blood-soaked movie. He is very intrigued at this sex party that is being thrown at Roland Vought's mansion or estate. People really enjoying each other's holes at this festivity. And Joey is loving every second of it.
This place is incredible.
It's a place where you'd want to bring sanitation wipes. Joey meets Serena, a lady who works for Roland, saying that she can introduce Joey to Roland. And Joey is very interested in this kind of proposition.
I'm sure he would love to meet you.
Joey takes off down the hall to go meet Roland in this giant room that's just filled with really weird antiques, more like torture devices. And in the middle of this room is the puzzle box, looking a little bit less squarish. And we do find out that the puzzle box, I believe, has 6 different configurations, each one meaning something different. Joey is then tricked into solving the puzzle by Roland, which ends up stabbing Joey in the hand and marking him as, well, the sad soul that gets to meet the Cenobites. Joey takes off trying to escape, but Roland throws a switch, trapping Joey inside this room. Joey isn't feeling too well. He starts to feel dizzy and things are happening. The puzzle box is transforming in front of him into the final configuration. And this is where shit gets a little bit wild. A door opens from another dimension, but we don't see who or what's in the doorway. We hear the sounds of chains rattling and then shooting out into Joey's leg. Joey is terrified, clinging on to I think a pillar, trying not to be dragged off, but eventually he does. Roland picks up the puzzle box, placing it back in the middle of the room. And as he does this, we see in the background, chains just start to shoot from every which way. And then you see Joey being strung up by these chains. Roland looking to the sky as Joey is screaming for help. And then it cuts to the opening. Hellraiser. Not a bad opening. What I enjoyed about this kill is that the buildup was slow, ominous. Roland isn't telling Joey something about this puzzle box, which makes you question if his motives are good or bad, but reveals to be pretty evil. We don't see the Cenobites or whatever is chaining up Joey. The focus isn't so much on him, more on Roland in this scene, but we do see the chains being shot down and then Joey being strung up. And it really leaves you wanting more. You want to know what these beings from another dimension look like. What is doing this to Joey? And through this whole movie, it's a pretty slow build up to the reveal of what these interdimensional beings look like. And in all honesty, the payoff is pretty good. This scene is set up pretty beautifully. For that, 3 bloody slashes out of 5. Not too gruesome, but you'll definitely need a band-aid or 2. Now we don't see him get killed, and most of it happens in the background of the scene. It does leave you wanting more, and it does leave it up to your imagination. And it's a great opening. Now I'm not a fan of off-screen kills like I've said before, and I do get why they're doing it, but we don't actually see the kill. What are your thoughts? Did you enjoy this opening sequence? Do you wish you saw more of Joey being chained up? Let me know in the comments down below. Riley, our main character of the story, is a bit of an addict, trying to recover at her brother's Matt's place. She comes home late one night after breaking and entering into somebody's storage container, and inside was the puzzle box, which her and her boyfriend Trevor end up stealing. She comes home late, gets into an altercation with her brother Matt, which eventually leads her to being kicked out of the house because Matt thinks she's back on the drugs.
Get the fuck out!
Riley, pissed off with this altercation with her brother, gives in to her addiction and she pops a couple pills, wanders off into a park, and starts to play with the puzzle box that she had stolen. High off her ass, she does solve the puzzle, the first configuration. Knife shoots out, almost stabs her, not marking her. Cenobites do show up saying that that mark was for her and that she must choose someone else to take her place. The Hell Priest shows up, opens up a hole in Riley's chest, and chains just spew out of her chest. And we see the chains lowering down to Matt's bed, piercing his skin, pulling up out of the bed, and waking him up. Now he gets a bad feeling after this dream and goes to try and find Riley, who he does find passed out and high off her ass in the park. He rushes to Riley's side and accidentally cuts himself on the box.
Rise up!
Oops, that's gonna leave it more than a mark. He brings Riley over to the bathroom in the middle of this park to go wash off his cut. But as he does so, he starts to feel weird. Vision becoming blurred, lights are becoming bright, and then blood starts to pool out of the sink where he was washing his hands. Our doorway to the other dimension opens. Outside, Riley is watching the puzzle box change when she hears Matt's screams and the sounds of chains clinking together. Riley runs in to help her brother, but her brother is gone. Another off-screen kill. What I enjoyed about this scene was we got to see a little bit more of the Cenobites, not fully, and they look so good and so terrifyingly beautiful. And it's just a taste of a few of them. I like the chains shooting out of her chest, lowering down a Matt and waking him up, a sign of them choosing her brother as her replacement. The kill, we don't see at all. Everything leading up is great. The fight between Riley and Matt, to the awesome dreamlike visuals, but the kill, kinda lame. We didn't see anything. And for that, 1 bloody splash out of 5. What are your thoughts on this scene? Do you agree with me? Do you not? Let me know in the comments down below. Riley and her boyfriend, or I guess sex partner, Trevor, tracked down Serena, who was the owner of this box, and that they stole from. Now, it's 6 years later since the last time we saw her, and Serena, she's seen better days.
I'm fucking dying in this place.
The only answer that they really get is that this box is really goddamn evil, and that they should stay away from it. Serena grabs the puzzle box, takes it away, and says that she's gonna lock it back up as she tries to fiddle with it to close the configuration back to its normal state. Riley doesn't like that she grabbed the box, so they start struggling between each other, and then it twists, and out pops a knife, cutting Serena in the hand, marking her. Whoopsie doopsie. Serena is then wheeled off to the infirmary, where the visions are already kicking in. As she's sitting there in the doctor's office by herself, a doorway opens to the other side, and out walks disgusting looking Cenobite with its face stretched back and its spinal column showing, and you can see the lungs as it breathes in and out. Pretty sweet. Serena escapes that room running down the hallway, but there's really no way to go because these demons have her trapped. And here we see some pretty hideous faces. Some new designs of the Cenobites. The Weeper and the Gasp. I believe that's their names. I'm not sure what the other one is called. Serena kneels down saying she's sorry, pleading for her life, as she pulls out a sharp object from the Weeper's eyes and puts it in Serena's mouth. And then the scene cuts to black, and we do not see what happens to Serena. Another off-screen kill. Again. What I liked about this scene is that we got to see the Cenobites more. Some of the new designs. The Weeper looks terrifying. Love it. Getting rid of that black leather and focusing more on more vibrant colors like the red and the skin color and the skin being peeled. Looking very artsy. Other than that, I'm gonna have to give this 1.5 bloody slashes out of 5. We don't hear her screams or anything. We do see the Cenobites kind of toying with her, but that's about it. There's only so much foreplay you can do in a movie, and this movie is giving me blue balls. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with the ranking? Do you not agree? Should it be higher or lower? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. We put out new videos every week, as well as live streams every Wednesday and Friday here on YouTube and Twitch. Let's get back into it. Riley's friends find Riley at Roland's old mansion, searching for answers and clues about this puzzle box and the disappearance of her brother and how she could bring him back. Nora, her roommate, finds a switch underneath the bar, which opens up a hidden passage behind the wall, where she goes to check it out, but the door slams behind her, locking her and trapping her inside this secret passageway. But Nora is not alone in this passageway, as someone comes up from behind her and stabs her with the puzzle box right in the back.
Have you found it?
She flees for her life. This thing in the hallway is chasing her, and she eventually ends up in the giant open room that was housing all those weird contraptions at the start of the movie. She's bleeding pretty bad, so they decide to leave the mansion and take her to the hospital. Nora begins to have the visions and not feeling too well in the back of this van. The van begins to stretch outwards and then disappearing, revealing Nora is just stuck in the middle of this hallway in the alternate dimension. She comes face to face with a very familiar Cenobite, Chatterer, and the new one, the Mask, and then Pinhead herself, or their self. Chains shoot into Nora's body, stringing her up, and Pinhead bends her backwards so that they can be face to face with each other. Nora is praying, hoping that God will come down and save her. The Hell Priest then asks her what she's praying for.
What is it you pray for?
Kind of saying like, well, heaven or God's not going to save you here, dear. And that they can make her feel things that she wouldn't believe. The Hell Priest then pulls a pin out of her head and then slowly inserts it into Nora's throat. And we get a pretty cool throat cam visual of the pin entering through her throat out the other side. The priest telling her that there's so much more the body can handle and that they're going to make her feel it all. Chatterer then pulls Nora down towards him and then rips her back off of her body as she's pulled into the other dimension and blood splattering all inside the van without Nora inside of it. Nora's body drops in the hallway where the Cenobites are, and we see a great visual of the whole backside of her back. Spine is showing and muscles and everything. And we finally see a kill in this movie. Hallelujah. What I enjoyed about this was the creepy visuals of the van expanding into this hallway where Nora is then trapped. Pretty much showing you it doesn't matter how fast you run or where you hide, they're gonna find you. It is inevitable. I liked how Nora was strung up and the altercation between her and Pinhead. Pinhead playing with her, shoving her pin in her throat, kind of like tuning her screams. As Nora is screaming, you can kind of hear her voice is like being tuned differently. Kind of frightening. Before ultimately then killing Nora. A very brutal kill. Ranking this 5 bloody slashes out of 5. You're gonna need more than a mop and a bucket to clean that mess up. We see the kill. It's a great build-up. Great interaction between the Cenobites and Nora. The scene makes you feel that it's inevitable to get away from these things. And overall, just brutal. Loved it. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let me know in the comments down below. Riley is distraught with the death of her friend. So she finds a bridge and she goes to throw it off the bridge, but she is stopped by Pinhead themselves.
Wait, not yet.
Riley doesn't want to do this anymore, but they give her no choice as the box opens by itself, cutting her, well, marking her, her blood being theirs to claim at any time they will. So she now has a choice. Does she sacrifice herself, kill herself, or does she mark somebody else with this box? Riley and crew walk back to the mansion after accidentally crashing their van because Nora's blood just sprayed everywhere. Kind of out of it, saying that she's not going to sacrifice them, don't worry. And a few seconds later, we see the ground give way, opening up, and Chatter comes up like he's walking out of hell and starts to walk after them, chasing the group. But we learn that it's only after Riley. Riley and Trevor get stuck behind this gate as Chatterer is trying to chatter her to death. Trevor gets his arm bitten, and Riley is stuck behind this gate trying to figure out, does she stab Trevor or does she try something else? Something a little bit more ballsy. She takes the box and then stabs the Cenobite Chatterer, thinking that if it works on humans, it must work on them as well? Pinhead is not amused by these turn of events. The look on her face is like, bitch, really? That's how you're gonna play? But Chatterer, being the good boy that he is, accepts his fate, walks back like, alright, bring it on, I'm ready. Chains fly into his body, which eventually we see him just get torn apart. Limbs, arms, legs, everything is just being flung everywhere and blood sprays all over Trevor and Riley's faces. Very bloody and gruesome. I'm gonna give this 4 bloody slashes out of 5. What I liked about this was the kill itself. It's a Hellraiser kill. Blood, gore. But they did my boy Chatterer dirty in this one, man. He's my favorite, and they just killed him. It's upsetting. The kills in Hellraiser, though, they feel much more brutal and terrifying when it happens to a human instead of a Cenobite. When that lust meets that pain, and they're kind of like playing with their food almost, kind of like what happened to Nora. But the kill itself, pretty brutal. What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let me know in the comments down below. Riley and crew are back at the mansion, and they try and lure in a Cenobite to try and stab with the final configuration so that Riley or any of them don't die next. And we learn that the mansion turns out to be a cage where Cenobites can't get in, or if they're in, they can't really get out. Riley is being chased by the Cenobite, and she accidentally drops the box as she dives through a door, and a door closing on one of the Cenobites, trapping it in the door and trapping Riley in this room. Colin, who is Matt's boyfriend, tries looking for the box to try and stab this Cenobite to try and save Riley and finally end this nightmare, but is nowhere to be found. It's not where Riley dropped it. He's panicking, unable to find it, when Roland, who's still alive, comes up behind him, stabs him in the gut, slices him open, marking him as the final victim. And Roland, well, let's just say that he has seen much better days, looking very funky with a contraption just stuck in his chest. A gift from the Cenobites themselves. After sacrificing Joey and 6 kills with this box, the wielder can pretty much ask for anything they want. And we also learn that Trevor has been working with Roland this whole time. What a dick. Roland then proceeds to open the gates to his mansion, allowing the Cenobites inside, allowing them to come and get Colin as their final victim, and also allowing this godlike thing called the Leviathan to come down from the sky. Riley screams at Colin to run. Get out of here. Roland tells Trevor to follow him, make sure he doesn't get too far. Roland, though, pulls a quick one on the Cenobites, trapping them all inside the mansion, and even trapping the Hell Priest herself. With that happening, Colin is also protected in the kink room from one of the Cenobites. Roland tells them that he rejects their gift that they gave him, that the thing in his chest, and that he wants to be made whole again.
You reject our gift.
And if they agree, he will release them. Riley, though, manages to squeak underneath the Cenobite that's stuck in the door, grab the puzzle box, and take off, opening the gates, releasing the Hell Priest onto Roland, but eventually also dooming Colin, who's stuck in this kink room now with the Cenobite. They use their powers to wrap Colin in like piano wire or something, or wire, string him up like a T-pose. His screams echo through the mansion, and Riley hears it and goes to find him. She walks into the kink room and finds the Cenobite stringing up Colin, and Trevor's there as well, just watching the show. She is about to tear the flesh off this boy, and it's going to be very painful. She tells the Cenobite to stop, saying that she didn't choose him to be marked.
Yet he is chosen.
She holds the power, and she wants to choose somebody else, which leads her to stabbing Trevor in the gut. I mean, yeah, I agree. Payback is a bitch. The Cenobite looks really excited with the change of events. I'm pretty sure they don't care as long as they get to take a soul with them, or take them with them. I'm not sure how it works. Is it a soul for eternity or something? Colin is unwrapped. Wires then appear wrapping around Trevor's neck, his arm, the wires pulling ever so much tighter as his skin actually begins to peel on his forearm. Blood starts to ooze from his neck. The podium where he's lying then gives way as he falls down this endless pit into the other dimension, ultimately sealing his fate, never to be seen again. This was a very satisfying kill. That's what I liked about this one, especially after learning that he was in cahoots with Roland. What I also liked about this scene is that we actually got to see the powers of a different Cenobite. Instead of just chains coming out, we see these like wires kind of string this man down, or strings up Colin. Skin peeling off his arm was a really good effect as well. And then him dropping through the stage thing into a bottomless pit. I'd have to give this 3.5 bloody slashes out of 5. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Now this isn't really a kill, but it's more of an honorable mention. Something happens to Roland, which is, I think, ultimately worse than death. After the Hell Priest agreeing to his terms and taking the contraption out of his chest, and there's a really amazing scene where the hole in his body where this contraption is just kind of like reconfigured and healed back up. The effects in this are so good. He asks for power, which is the ultimate gift that these Cenobites or their god can give somebody. This godlike thing in the sky then shoots out a giant hook, piercing his chest and pulling him up into the sky, into the Leviathan, I think. We then see him at the end of the movie lying in this white room on this gold seat or something. Head is shaved, his body is all healed up, very naked. His skin is then filleted and peeled away, transforming him, I think, into a Cenobite. His legs peel open, his chest, his arms, his mouth is peeled open, revealing just his teeth. Almost like a very, very wide smile. Very gross, very disturbing. Very awesome. His fate finally sealed and pretty much got what was coming to him. Oh hell, I'll rank this. I'll rank this 4 bloody slashes out of 5. It's a fate worse than death. What are your thoughts on this? The highest ranking kill in this movie is Nora's kill. I felt like this was the only one that showed much of anything, and that it dove into what Hellraiser is about. Lust and pain kind of combined together, showing what the Cenobites have to offer them. Very great visuals. Love the interaction with Pinhead there as she's kind of like toying with her, getting her kink on. Jamie Clayton absolutely killed it in this movie, and honestly, I hope we see more of her as Hellraiser. Hellraiser was a strong reboot or reimagining. Great visuals, great redesigns of the Cenobites. Jamie Clayton as Pinhead killed it. Though I did find this movie to be a bit restrained as a Hellraiser movie. Many of the kills were off screen, but I totally understand that because they're trying to slowly reveal what these, new designs look like. They didn't really dive into the whole allure, the pleasure and pain that the Cenobites offer people. But all in all, a pretty solid movie, a pretty solid reboot to the franchise, which I hope we do get more of. More of Jamie Clayton as the Hell Priest, because man, she did such a fantastic job. Very frightening. What are your thoughts? Did you agree with the rankings? Have you seen the movie? If you haven't, make sure you check it out. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like the video and subscribe. New videos out weekly. Let me know what your favorite kill was in this movie. And as always, I'll see you in the next spooky video.